I'm Jonathan Clarke here on HEW Entertainment Variety Radio, and I'm very pleased to welcome Lacey Von Erich to the program. How are you doing, Lacey?
Very good. Good to be here.
It's a pleasure for you to join us here on the program. Your family was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. First and foremost, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What was it
It's a
like?
big honor.
What was it like seeing your family inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Well, it brought back so many memories. Me and my sister haven't sat next to each other and watched Daddy on a big screen or, up on stage, Uncle Kevin and stuff. We haven't seen that since we were really little girls. So to us, it brought us back. It was almost kind of like a funeral. It was really, really emotional for us. And, but, it was an honor and it was really great. I mean, I'm in this business to have Daddy remembered again. And, that's how I accepted WWE's offer to even become a wrestler, is because I wanted a tribute to him. So it was good to see that everyone, being able to see him again.
Still remembers the Von Erichs and everything like that. Was there a huge turnout at your father's funeral?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I mean, all the wrestlers were there. The streets were filled. There was helicopters. It was huge at the funeral, yeah.
Definitely. Ben, go ahead with a question, Ben.
Okay. Lacey, I actually, I was really young at the time when your family was at the peak of, as far as world-class championship wrestling. By the time I actually started watching it, it was pretty much your dad, Kevin, and Mike that were doing everything. Do you have any, as far as when you were you aware when you were that young how big the Von Erich name really was? I mean, being as, back in the mid to late 80s, did you really grasp what being the whole Von Erich name meant to the state of Texas at that time?
I didn't, but, I knew that we were different, obviously, because we couldn't go to a restaurant without crowds of people going up to Daddy and stuff. And he would actually get extra large tables so that he would invite the fans that were at the restaurant and stuff to eat with us. He loved all the fans, and, I think that was another reason why I liked doing this, because he never made it seem like it was terrible or he hated it or anything. And so I just knew that, everyone loved Daddy and that he wrestled and I would go to the wrestling matches and stuff at the Sportatorium, and I hated him wrestling because he was always so bloody, and I thought Daddy was getting really badly hurt. We were always going to the hospital afterwards to get him stitches from juicing, and so I knew that we were different.
How would you compare the beatings that your father used to take to a beating like someone like Mick Foley used to take? He had everything done to him, from his ear being ripped off. He got thrown off the Hell in a Cell. Everything seemingly happened to him. How would you compare the beatings your father took to someone like Mick Foley?
Well, Daddy never got his ear bitten off, but, he lost his foot in a motorcycle accident. So I do think that he endured the same pain. He had to wrestle with one foot secretly, and he took a lot of pain medicine for that. I know that I heard him. We have, a lot of postcards and letters that he wrote to my sister and I, telling about how much pain he was in and everything else. And he would always cut above his eyebrow. He'd keep a little razor in his boot. And all the adrenaline, he'd always cut too deep. And he was getting stitches all the time, and he would rip his stitches open again. So, there was a lot of pain involved, I think mainly because of wrestling with one foot. But, he didn't get his ear bitten off, so...
Well, hopefully you don't get your ear bitten off on the independent circuit. I'm sure that they'll have to get the Jaws of Life or something to help you, but hopefully that won't happen. Do you still have that?
Yeah.
Do you still have those postcards and everything that he used to send you, kept somewhere in a box, somewhere safe?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, me and my sister both do.
Yeah,
she actually keeps them all because I wasn't able to read any of them or look at his pictures or anything like that until I got into the business, because they forced me to talk about him. And, it was the best therapy ever. Now I can talk about him and look at him and read those kind of things, and, it still upsets me, but not like I used to be. It was pretty bad. I blocked it all out. So, this business has done wonders for me.
Yeah. Well,
coping with Daddy. So.
Well, for someone 22 years old, you've certainly progressed a lot through everything through your father and everything. You've come a long way, and definitely, I'm sure he's proud of you for what you've done so far.
Yeah, I hope so. He didn't have a son to carry on the name, but he did have a very athletic daughter, so I'm going to do my best.
Ben, go ahead with a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Lacey, this is more of a comment than a question, but it's something that I think a lot of people, I always get the question from a lot of my friends who, are wrestling fans, and they'll always come up to me and ask me what my fascination with the entire, the world class and Von Erich thing is, like here in the year 2009. And what I always tell them is, you almost you owe it to yourself as a wrestling fan, if you love this business at all, to go back and watch those tapes, because there has been nothing in the industry, in my opinion, since, as far as the realism that World Class had and just the overall impact that the Von Erich name had. The one thing was, like, I always differentiated, yes, your family from others, is that what you saw on TV was just so real. Like, even, the demeanor, the way they were in and out of the ring with the fans, like, there was just a connection there that I don't think anyone's ever had. And, like, for you, do you ever find, as far as when you're out and about, or, do you have people come up to you and pretty much expect the same thing from you that they got from your family when they were in their heyday, as far as, like, taking time to sign autographs or whatnot?
Oh, well, I will always be like that. I definitely have Daddy's personality when it comes to fans and stuff like that. But I don't think anyone expects me to be like my uncles and stuff like that, because it's a man's world. It's not no matter what, no matter how good I am or any other girl, it's never going to be a woman's world, especially in, like, the WWE or anything else. The show that I'm doing, Wrestlelicious, is an all-girls wrestling show with very, very talented girls. So hopefully that'll turn things around, and I can shine as Von Erich by not being overshadowed by all the men. I will always take time for fans or anybody else that thinks that it's a privilege to get my autograph, which I still think is absolutely crazy. That'll never change. I know it won't. And hopefully I'll be able to do my dad proud as best of my ability and won't screw it up.
Well, definitely. Owen Hart once said that a woman doesn't have any place in the wrestling business, and I take it you must have took that to heart, did you, when Owen Hart said that a couple of years ago before he died?
You know what? I think that my uncles and granddad would have said the same thing before. They never knew that their granddaughter, their baby girl, would be like wrestling. And I think that's just the old school way. And because that's my family and they were old school, then I'm like, fine. Like, girls, maybe they're not supposed to. Maybe they won't ever be the center of wrestling or anything like that, which I don't think they ever will. But maybe my show will turn things around for some girl wrestling fans, since it is all girls. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping not to be overshadowed and kind of get the girls a name. But we're also very goofy. We're going to be doing a lot of comedy and stuff like that. And, it's going to be really fun. And I don't know. I'm hoping to turn it around a little bit.
Well, I'm sure the only way you'll be overshadowed is when it's cloudy outside. I'm pretty well sure of that. There's no way you're going to be overshadowed in a wrestling business. How do you feel about being in a business that is, like, pretty much dominated by men? Do you think that people like Joni Lauer and Nicole Bass really put women on notice when they showed up and really said, this is what a woman can do in the business?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of talented women wrestlers. And but they're put on shows like the WWE and stuff where or TNA, where the men are great and they have a lot more fans, and the women maybe have one wrestling match within the whole show. So we might be able to show our talent for 5 minutes, but the guys have it for an hour. You know what I mean? So I really think that we need to be shown more to show people our talent and things like that. And that's another thing that the show will bring.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see us for a whole hour instead of 5 minutes here and there. And everyone is very, very talented. So again, I'm hoping we won't be overshadowed by men, which I do not think that we're competing with the WWE's traffic or audience whatsoever by our show. I think it's a totally different audience. I feel like it's just a family, like, Mad TV type of audience because there were lots of skits and things like that. Yeah. Not so much the typical wrestling audience. Yeah. But hopefully by being a Von Erich and the wrestling fans knowing the Von Erichs, yeah. They'll tune in, you know. So.
You once said the men's locker room really smelled. Does it really smell that bad?
Oh, no, I love it. I love the smell of the men's locker rooms. It reminds me of Daddy. The first time that WWE brought me out to Raw, they were all, like, rubbing Bengay and everything, and I haven't smelt that since my dad, and it makes me cry, like, almost every time I smell the men's locker room. I really love the smell. I don't know.
Kind of like gas. The smell of gas.
Yeah, the smell of, like, the tape and the Bengay and the sweat and everything else. Yeah, it makes me feel like when I was little again. I love it.
Definitely. Ben, go ahead with a question.
Lacey, I actually wanted to ask you, do you have any, like, funny stories or good memories of your Uncle Mike? I mean, to me, like, Mike was always my favorite. I just have, I mean, to this day, like, Mike means everything to me as far as, like, from memories from my childhood up until today. Do you have any, like, funny or good stories you could tell regarding your Uncle Mike?
Oh, I've heard a lot from fans about stories with my Uncle Mike, but, you know, I was really young when he passed away. I was so young. You know, he traveled with Daddy and my Uncle Kevin a lot, and they have some pretty goofy stories about goofing around outside the ring, like when they all climbed the billboard and, you know, just like hanging out above the highway on the billboard and people